This is the Jasmine Burton Show, and we have so many fun segments for you this week. As usual, we have a political topic, a current event, a hot take, a dating issue, and a legal issue. So let's get right into the legal issue. Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett just debated. And before we get into the debate, let's get into some of his previous comments. I want to play a game called What Was Said versus What Was Meant. James Tallarico said,
well, I think that is the central question in this primary. Who can win in November? And Congresswoman Crockett, who I deeply respect, is going to be making her case. I'm going to be making my case. But every Democratic voter who shows up in this primary needs to have one question on their mind, and that is who is best positioned to win in November. Because if we don't win, we can't help people. We can't fight back against Republican extremism.
Here's what he meant. Texans aren't going to vote for a black woman. Y'all should elect someone white because someone black isn't going to beat out John Cornyn, the Republican incumbent. That is insane for multiple reasons. In order to flip this seat Democratic, Jasmine Crockett has discussed in detail her plan to mobilize the Democratic base and infrequent voters, particularly black voters and people of color who don't often vote in midterms, which is key to flipping Texas statewide. And his agenda is focused on highlighting that she's not electable. Just say nigga. Just say nigga. That's what you want to say. Please. These are both Democratic candidates, let's be clear. Jasmine's agenda is just flat out and blatantly better because she's getting specific. For workers, she's pushing to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour and pass the PRO Act to strengthen workers' rights and union protections. For healthcare, she's advocating for lowering prescription drug costs, expanding Medicaid access, and protecting coverage under the Affordable Care Act. For voting rights, she's supporting automatic and same-day voter registration, vote by mail access, and federal protections against voter suppression. And she'd be with the gays. And she'd be advocating for protections against discrimination in housing, employment, and healthcare. And she wants us out of prison. She's trying to end cash bail and promoting reentry programs and supports humane immigration policies, including pathways to citizenships for dreamers and protections for asylum seekers. And what is Tallarico talking about? Taxing the billionaires? I'm bored. I've heard this agenda 500 times. We get it. Texas don't even got taxes like that. Can we focus on something else? Jesus Christ. Like, I'm over it. If y'all don't get out and vote for Jasmine Crockett, I'll pass out. And y'all don't want me to pass out. I'm dramatic. I'm a Gemini. I'll pass out. Get out and vote for her, damn it. Her whole agenda is amazing. Goodbye. ICE detained a 5-year-old in Minnesota last week. They actually detained 4 children, and one of them was 5 years old. What is this administration's obsession with children? Your homeboy had an island where he enslaved and raped children, and you frequented it so much that you're in the Epstein files, which, by the way, you still need to 1, 2, 3, release them. These files are not a mystery novel. This is not a big game of who done it.
I'd say who?
Trump is in the files. We've seen it. The hesitation to release all the files after a congressional mandate, by the way, isn't about process or privacy. It's about proximity. It's not about caution. It's about self-preservation. His name pops up. His circles are in there. And because of that, transparency is now optional. Please. We've been hit. And now that that island is closed, you had to find another way to fixate on children. So now you're detaining them in the snow. And there's so many other immigrants that you have the ability to detain and deport. One of them sleeps in your bedroom. Well, actually, she probably sleeps in the guest room because she doesn't want to catch that disease that made your ankle swell and your hand bruise. But she's around. Focus on her. How about you focus on Melania, or wait for it, your mother? How about you focus on Marianne Trump? Or these other immigrants just aren't your type because they're white presenting and of age? You love immigrants. 2 of your 3 wives are immigrants. And since the election, you've deported 600,000 immigrants and none of them included your kin. Let's rearrange our priorities. Leave the babies out of it. Jesus. I thought this was universal law and that everyone understood. But apparently, some people don't get it. Because you're still trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. I feel like rappers would stop going to jail if we started calling it gay. Lil Durk is facing murder for hire and related conspiracy charges tied to a 2022 shooting in Los Angeles where Quando Wando's cousin was killed. And prosecutors are alleging that Durk orchestrated a plan to target the rapper and that the killing occurred in the course of the alleged and said plot. First of all, I would be so mad if I hired someone to kill somebody and not only did I get caught, they also didn't hit the target. Like, now I'm in jail and that man is running around free eating 4 for 4s at Wendy's. I would be sick. I would be sick. Anyways, he pled not guilty to these charges and is still in custody, and the case is now delayed until spring. So this man has to wait for the tulips to come out before he sees his day in court, and that's a travesty. We will pick the trial back up on April 21st. However, until then, we have bigger fish to fry. Now, I completely understand that the lifestyle that you rapped about is what made you famous, but I feel like once you reach a certain level of wealth, we have to give it up. Like, you used to pray for times like this, and now you have it, and now you're going to jail because you let another man upset you. Side note, male rage is such an ick. Like, yeah. Like, you can't keep your composure. Who cares if someone disrespects you? You have $1 million. If I had $1 million, I would be incapable of rage. Like, every time I would start to get angry, I would calm down because I remember that my toilet has a 24-karat bidet. I would never get upset.
Where you going? Don't you ignore me. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away.
We gotta let that it's the principal stuff go because you're literally in jail sleeping on a cot eating porridge with not nary a woman in sight, all because you let another man get under your skin? That's gay. You let another man upset you and now you're in a 5x5 box with a male roommate. This is the plot of Queer Eye. Like, we need to bring back gay shame because that's a straight man's biggest fear. Like, no one hates a gay man more than a street nigga. And that will keep them out of jail. We just need to call it gay.
Nigga, you gay.
I'm running for mayor. We need to figure out something though because this is getting out of hand. Like, think about it. Lil Durk is facing federal murder for hire charges for killing Quando Wando's cousin. YNW Melly was charged in the double murder of his 2 friends and then made a song about it. TK was convicted in 2025 for murder and previously for another 2016 murder.
Yeah, double homicide.
Young Thug is free, but he almost got in the long-running YSL gang prosecution. Like, this is crazy. I'm about to post a 21 Savage tweet. And it's not going to be performative because y'all have me tired. Granted, I'm from Calabasas, so take this advice with a grain of salt. Like, I understand everyone's circumstances are different. And if you're a millionaire, you need to stop letting other men get you upset. That's gay. Has anyone ever noticed that the perception of anger when it comes to women is viewed completely differently based on race? Like, when a white woman gets angry, her rage is treated as rational, deserving of consideration. She's standing up for herself, setting boundaries, or in more flattering narratives, speaking truth to power. Her anger is legible. It fits comfortably within a cultural script that assumes her inferiority is complex and that her emotions are responses, not threats. Black women, on the other hand, are viewed as loud, irrational, aggressive, regardless of volume or content. It's a caricature that follows us around and results in this paradox that Black women are often expected to endure more, yet permitted to express less. Latina anger too, it gets its own makeover. Sexualized, dramatized, exoticized. The sexy, angry Latina trope recasts rage as spice, fiery, entertaining, passionate. Asian women get a whole other thing. Y'all know the show Beef on Netflix? Ali Wong didn't just make a dark comedy about road rage. She was actively pushing back against the narrow, sanitized way Asian people, especially Asian women, are usually presented in mainstream media. Asian women are assumed to be docile, obedient, subservient at the hand of patriarchal Asian male in the household. But Ali Wong was like, bop that. Her character is objectively a bad person. She's resentful, petty, competitive, spiraling, and human. The show lets her be selfish and cruel without rushing to explain it as a cultural trauma or moral failure. That alone is radical. Because all we see is Asian women's quiet endurance because that's virtue. And this is the thing, these stereotypes are subtly ingrained in our mind based on the movies and TV shows we watch. Think about the angry Latina trope, for example. Sofia Vergara in Soul Plane, Selma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn, Selma Hayek in Desperado, Michelle Rodriguez in the Fast and Furious franchise, Penelope Cruz and Selma Hayek in Bandidas. What ties these together is that anger is allowed and it's a spectacle. The angry Latina can yell, throw things, threaten violence, even kill, but she's rarely allowed to analyze, accuse, demand change. Do you see what I'm getting at? And look at Black Woman. The Blind Side, which is problematic for a million reasons, has Black women all up and through that movie. But they largely appear as irritated teachers or skeptical neighbors or sharp-tongued background figures. The whole point of their anger is to contrast and highlight Leanne Tui's composure, generosity, moral clarity. Because when she yells, run the dang ball, it's a cute mama sticking up for her black son, child, please, we know the drill. Freedom Riders, spare me. All of the Black female students are often portrayed as angry, hostile, resistant at the beginning of the film. Their anger signals dysfunction and danger, something to be softened and corrected through white intervention and a nice white teacher. Why this misses the mark is because the story frames their outrageous confusion and misdirection not as a valid response to structural harm. Do you see how these subtleties continue in how they play in our brain and shape our narratives, and how certain anger is allowed in certain races and it's not allowed in others? And yeah, I might be angry today, but everyone gets angry. It doesn't just happen to Black women. It doesn't just happen to white women. It doesn't just happen to Latina women, so no one should be stereotyped for it. I'm sick of giving all this information for free. I'm really sick of it.
Gregory Daniel Jones, Will you marry me? I thought so. What? I can't marry you.
You know what's so funny? I've seen videos of women proposing to men, but I thought it was just a one-off thing. I didn't know it was a trend and that women really started proposing. And now that I know that it's happening consistently, I have to be honest about the fact that this is why we weren't allowed to vote. Baby, I want to ask you a question. What would you do if I tried to propose to you?
Jasmine, I would tell you to get your goofy ass up.
Because that's a real man. He would never let me get on my fucking knees. Are y'all crazy? Are y'all crazy? I'm about to call my dad and ask him.
Hey, Funky, what's going on?
I got a question. I had to call the head honcho in. It's now become a trend where like women are proposing to men. What is your thoughts on that?
Oh, I ain't with that.
What would you do if mom would have done that to you?
Oh, no, she wouldn't have been able to beat me to that moment.
Exactly, because that's a real man.
Yeah, I already knew I wanted to marry your mom from the time I saw her. No, I'm not with women proposing to men. Yeah, I'm not with that.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm calling mom. Mom.
Yes.
I got a question. There's this new phenomenon that's happening in America. Women are proposing to men. How do you feel about that?
No comment. Seems backwards. We want to vomit.
I love it.
Love you.
Bye. We literally cannot be at this point where we're proposing to men. Oh my goodness. I'm a liberal woman. I'm a Renaissance woman. I believe in trend shifting. If you take me to dinner twice, I'll take you to dinner once. I'm amicable. But we cannot get to the point where we are proposing to men. This is why they are sitting on tables smoking hookah. This is why they want you to text them good morning. Because y'all are enabling them. This is the problem with society. Who sent you this? It came up in your feed, and that's the issue. They're programming our brains. They're putting it in our feeds because they want us to do it more. This girl should go in the gutter. We can't do it. And you know the craziest part? One, she was rejected. That's terrible. If he's not proposing to you, he probably just doesn't want to get married. So you proposing isn't going to make a difference. And the best part of that video was her homegirl walking in that cheetah skirt from Fashion Nova like, girl, get up. Even the friend who has no good taste herself. I mean, look at the outfit. We got to let that Sheen cart go. She is like, girl, get up off your knees. Bro, I couldn't even imagine. No, we can't let this slide. In synopsis, we're not proposing to men in 2026. Don't let this be a thing. Please let this woman take her L in peace. We cannot. That's not good. And we can't allow that behavior. Please.